Warwick Davis is back as the mischief-loving, murderous leprechaun in Leprechaun 2. A very good sequel. I mean, the first three Leprechauns, I would say they're all pretty good movies. I mean, obviously not masterpieces or anything like that, but for what they are, what they set out to do, they're good movies. They're entertaining. They deliver, I would say. And of the first three, I think it is a little bit difficult for me to kind of choose which would be my favorite. I mean, obviously there's a factor with the first one that just has, like, for pure curiosity's sake, Jennifer Aniston in a pre-Friends role, being the lead character, the girl in the film. Uh, that gives it a little bit of an edge. But what might give Leprechaun 2 just a little bit more of an edge against this one and against the first one and against the third and pretty much, I guess, any of the other Leprechaun movies that they made is that this one, it takes place during St. Patrick's Day. It's the only one. It's the only Leprechaun movie that had the guts to take place on St. Patrick's Day. So I don't know. I think that's an appealing factor, I guess. So this is a good movie for Halloween horror watching. This is a good movie for a St. Patrick's Day drinking game, I guess. I don't know. But it's a completely different story from the first film. I mean, the series, it's not really one of those things where it continues one, character's arc or anything like that. Always kind of a different thing each time around. And I think I read somewhere, somebody pointed out that Warwick Davis, he's not playing the same leprechaun in each movie. It's like a different leprechaun in each movie. So each time he's playing a different evil leprechaun that, gets defeated in the end. And there's no real worry about having to resurrect him or come up with some, plot detail about how he came back. It's just a different one each time. So, hey, that's fine. This one opens with this kind of flashback, I guess, this sequence 1,000 years ago where the leprechaun has taken this slave, this Irish peasant fella, and he arranges to set him free if he helps him in getting his bride, the bride of the leprechaun. And he, of course, agrees, but then finds out it's his daughter, and he thwarts the leprechaun by, it's this weird thing. She has to sneeze 3 times, and he says, "God bless you," and that kind of protects her. I don't know, it's stupid. But his vow is to marry one of the descendants of this would-be bride. And so the story then jumps to modern day in Los Angeles, actually. That's where the bulk of the story takes place. And I guess it's good that we had that kind of beginning segment, because there's a good 10 or so minutes of the movie, which, I mean, in a movie that's like an hour and 20 minutes or so, that's an eternity, where we're just setting up like the non leprechaun characters of this film, and like almost like kind of begins to feel like this kind of goofy rom-com, actually. It's a story of Cody, who's this kind of slacker kid, I guess, who's working in Los Angeles with this haunted tour, kind of owned by his uncle, and showing all these celebrity houses and places that they died and all that kind of stuff, kind of suckering people into their money. And he's trying to maintain his relationship with his girlfriend Bridget, and he's always kind of letting her down, and he has to kind of fix things and get things right, and all that. And his uncle is Sandy Baron Morty, who, of course, is very recognizable as Uncle Leo in Seinfeld. Of course, everyone kind of knows the face, knows the voice. He's good in a role here. So we kind of set up all these characters, and it's kind of fun, wacky rom-com kind of thing. But then it's like, oh right, there's a leprechaun in this movie, and as it would happen, Bridget, she is the descendant of his prospective bride from the opening of the film. So he's trying to get her to sneeze 3 times, and he's trying to bring her down into his leprechaun lair and you know, consummate the wedding. So that's the basic plot of the movie, and Cody has to save the day, and Uncle Morty is along for the adventure, and they're trying to outsmart the leprechaun and all that, and there's all kind of mischief along the way where the leprechaun kills people, of course, because that's kind of what he does in these movies, and there's some fun creative kills, like he uses magic against this one guy who's kind of vying for Bridget's attention as well, kind of a romantic rival, as they happen to appear in these types of movies. He's hitting on her, she leaves, but then the leprechaun makes this illusion that she's come back and is all over him, but it turns out he's just kissing a lawnmower, and it rips his face off, and it's very stupid, but it's good, I guess. And there's a nice appearance actually by Mad TV's Michael McDonald, who recently appeared in Halloween Kills, who also gets killed by the leprechaun. So it's the leprechaun and Michael Myers have killed Michael McDonald. What a terrible fate this poor actor has to go through. This time around, he's just really ragging on the leprechaun, making short jokes and all that stuff, and he gets killed by an espresso maker. So this is the kind of stuff we're dealing with the film, right? So it's stupid, wacky, funny stuff. It is a comedy, so they're going for obviously kind of a campy kind of thing, and of course he has all the one-liners and stuff like that. Bites off a guy's finger, and he says, "Finger looking good." Okay, but as previously, there are characters who find ways to combat the evil leprechaun, which is always important. You got to find a way to get the one up on him, and how they do it in this film is through cast iron. That seems to be his weakness. So even the hero of the movie, Cody, he has his own little stupid one-liner where he's like, "Have you had your iron today?" And it's like, oh man, why do I like this movie? But hey, what can you do? And I kind of missed the fact, I don't really think they ever revisited this in any of the other Leprechaun movies, but I always really loved how in the first one his weakness was shoes. Like if you threw a damaged pair of shoes around his general vicinity, he would have no choice but to try and repair the shoes, because he's a leprechaun. He repairs shoes, I guess. So hey, that's interesting. That's funny to me. But they never revisited it. They never explored it any further. But I always found that very funny from the first film. But cast iron is fine, I guess. That works. And it all kind of boils down to the big climactic chase and the leprechaun's cheesy lair, and saving the girl and winning the day, if that's a spoiler at all. But what can I say? It's an entertaining movie. It's very fun. On equal enough footing with the first film. I mean, again, we don't have the star power of Jennifer Aniston, but we do get good kind of walk-on appearances from some talented people. Of course, we have Warwick Davis in the lead role. He's great. We have Sandy Barrett. He's great, and appearance by Michael McDonald. Also appearing in the film briefly is Clint Howard, which is kind of cool to see him in the film. And Tony Cox from Bad Santa, playing one of the patrons in the bar who's celebrating St. Patrick's Day and drinking and cheering on the leprechaun as he gets into a drinking contest with Uncle Leo, and they're shouting the freaks line, one of us. So a very bizarre, stupid movie, but I can't help but liking it. There's some kind of charm with the Leprechaun movies, and I'd say it's a fair bet that one they find a good tone with the movies. I mean, it's funny and dumb, but it's not like overly funny and dumb, if that makes sense. And definitely Warwick Davis. I mean, he's a hugely talented actor. He's a hugely funny guy. I mean, again, I think I mentioned this in my previous review of the first Leprechaun, but his television series Life's Too Short. I mean, that's one of the funniest series of recent years. He's absolutely terrific on that. So he has the comedic chops. He brings it to the role. Really good makeup. That's, I'd say, pretty much where the budget of the movie went. And a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously and has a fun time. And that kind of, it reflects on our enjoyment as the audience. So it's a fun, good old time. Leprechaun 2. That's my review. Thank you very much for watching. We're doing 31 Days of Horror here on the channel. New horror movie reviews every day in October 2021. Be sure to keep up with the new reviews. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, I'll see you later, and stay scared.